Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend casual conversations with insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets.
It's going to be a wild ride today.
It is. We're diving deep into AI, chips, and believe it or not, woolly mammoths.
Yeah, pretty wild mix, but it all comes back to how tech is changing everything around us.
Okay, so let's start with AI. It's everywhere these days, but how is it actually showing up in the tech we use every day?
We're seeing a huge shift from AI being used mainly by big companies to actually improving our lives as consumers.
Okay.
It's not just about robots taking over.
Right.
It's about making our apps and devices smarter and more personalized.
So it's less about the Terminator and more about making our lives easier.
Exactly. Let me give you an example. Think about language learning apps. Remember those old methods with flashcards and boring grammar drills?
Yeah.
AI-powered apps like Speak are using natural language processing to analyze your speech, pinpoint your weaknesses, and create a personalized learning plan. It's like having a tutor available 24/7.
Wow, that's actually really cool. So you can have a conversation with the app and it helps you learn.
Exactly. And it's clearly working because the market for these AI language apps is exploding.
Really?
It's already worth over $61.5 billion and is projected to grow by 20% annually. People are really seeing the difference.
Okay, that's impressive. But is all the hype around AI translating into actual investment dollars? Should I be rushing to buy AI stocks? What do you think?
Well, it's interesting, actually. While venture capitalists are pouring money into AI startups, especially those focused on consumers, the public markets are a bit more cautious.
Oh, okay.
For example, Marvell Technology, which makes chips used in AI applications, has seen their stock drop recently despite strong performance.
So there's a disconnect between the excitement around AI and how the markets are reacting. What's driving that?
It's a classic case of irrational exuberance meeting reality.
Yeah.
AI definitely has huge potential, but it's still early days. Investors in the public markets are likely waiting to see more concrete evidence of long-term profitability.
So it's a wait-and-see approach for now.
Exactly. The takeaway is that AI is definitely a game changer, but don't just blindly jump on the bandwagon. Do your research and be smart about your investments.
Solid advice. Speaking of big investments and potential game changers, what's the latest with the CHIPS Act? That's a pretty big deal for the tech world, right?
Absolutely. The CHIPS Act is a $52 billion initiative aimed at boosting U.S. chip manufacturing.
Right.
It's a strategic move to reduce our reliance on foreign producers and strengthen national security, considering how crucial chips are for everything from smartphones to defense systems.
But I've heard there's some pushback on the CHIPS Act, even calls to repeal it. Where is that coming from?
You're right. President Trump has voiced his opposition, arguing that it's ineffective and favors tariffs instead. This has created a lot of uncertainty in the industry.
So what happens if the CHIPS Act gets repealed? What kind of impact would that have?
Well, it could have some major consequences. For instance, TSMC, the world's leading chip maker, just invested a whopping $100 billion in U.S. plants, largely due to the incentives from the CAFE Act.
Wow.
Repealing it could jeopardize those investments and potentially cost the U.S. between 20,000 to 25,000 jobs.
Wow, so the stakes are pretty high.
They are.
This is about way more than just some silicon. It's about global leadership in a critical industry.
Exactly. The future of tech innovation and national security are intertwined with the chip industry.
Okay, that's a lot to think about. But now for something completely different. Are we seriously talking about bringing back woolly mammoths? That sounds like something straight out of Jurassic Park.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But Colossal Biosciences, a biotech company, has set an ambitious goal: de-extinct the woolly mammoth by 2028.
2028.
Yeah. They plan to use CRISPR gene editing, a revolutionary technology that allows scientists to modify DNA with incredible precision.
2028. Yeah, that's just around the corner. So how does this whole de-extinction thing work? Are they cloning mammoths from frozen DNA?
Not exactly.
Okay.
They're actually using Asian elephants as surrogates, genetically modifying them to carry mammoth traits. They've already created woolly mice with mammoth characteristics like longer hair and altered fat metabolism.
Woolly mice.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. But I have to ask, what's the point of bringing back a creature that went extinct thousands of years ago? Is it just for scientific curiosity, or is there a bigger purpose?
Well, it's definitely a mind-blowing scientific feat, but there's actually a strong ecological argument behind it. Woolly mammoths played a vital role in maintaining the Arctic grasslands. Their grazing habits and movements help to keep the permafrost frozen, which is crucial for regulating the climate.
So bringing them back could actually help combat climate change.
That's the idea. Reintroducing mammoths could potentially restore the Arctic ecosystem and help mitigate the effects of climate change. However, there are valid ethical concerns about the unintended consequences of introducing a genetically engineered species into the wild.
That's a really interesting point. We're talking about potentially altering entire ecosystems.
Yes.
It's a huge responsibility. Makes you wonder, are we playing God here?
Yes.
Is it ethical to manipulate nature in this way?
Those are questions scientists and ethicists are grappling with right now. It's a complex issue with no easy answers, but it's a conversation we need to have as we push the boundaries of science and technology.
Welcome back to Byte-Sized Tech. We've been talking about some pretty mind-blowing tech, from AI-powered language learning to the quest to bring back the woolly mammoth.
It is incredible to think about how fast technology is evolving and the impact it's having on every aspect of our lives.
You know, it's funny, we often talk about tech in terms of the future, but the Mammoth project really highlights how tech can connect us to the past.
That's a great point. We're using cutting-edge gene editing to potentially right a wrong from thousands of years ago. It makes you think about the long-term consequences of our actions.
It definitely does. Speaking of long-term consequences, let's circle back to AI for a moment. We talked about the cool stuff, but what about the potential downsides? There's a lot of talk about AI taking over jobs and even posing a threat to humanity. Should we be worried?
AI is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It's crucial to be aware of the potential risks as AI becomes more integrated into our lives.
So how do we ensure that AI is used responsibly? What steps can we take to mitigate those risks?
Well, it's going to take a collaborative effort. Governments, tech companies, and researchers all need to work together to establish clear ethical guidelines and regulations for AI development and use.
That makes sense. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about how we choose to use it and the guardrails we put in place.
Exactly. We need to be mindful of the potential impact of AI on society, on jobs, on privacy, and make sure it benefits everyone, not just a select few.
I think that's a critical message. Technology should empower us, not divide us. But before we wrap things up, I wanted to touch on one more thing. We've been talking about these groundbreaking technologies, but what about the everyday tech we use? How is AI changing our interaction with our phones, computers, even our homes?
AI is subtly changing everything, even if we don't always realize it. Think about those personalized recommendations you get on Spotify or Netflix. That's AI at work, analyzing your preferences and predicting what you'll enjoy.
Oh, that's true. I never really thought about it that way. And those virtual assistants like Siri and Alexa, they seem to get smarter every day.
Absolutely. Virtual assistants are prime examples of how AI is seamlessly integrating into our daily routines. They can answer questions, control our smart home devices, even schedule appointments. They're becoming increasingly intuitive and helpful.
It's amazing to think how far we've come in such a short time. Makes you wonder, what's next? What other incredible advancements are just around the corner? Are we going to have flying cars and robot butlers soon?
Haha. Well, maybe not flying cars just yet, but the future of tech is definitely exciting. While we've focused a lot on AI today, there are incredible breakthroughs happening in fields like biotechnology, renewable energy, and space exploration.
It's mind-boggling to think about all the possibilities. It feels like we're living in a science fiction movie sometimes.
I know what you mean, but it's important to remember that this is real life, and these advancements have the potential to solve some of the world's biggest challenges.
So it's not just about cool gadgets and futuristic technology. It's about using innovation to make a real difference in the world.
Exactly, and that's what makes this such an exciting time to be alive. It's amazing, all the technologies we talked about today.
Yeah.
They all, they share this common thread of like pushing boundaries, whether it's AI learning our habits or, chips shaping global power or, even the idea of mammoth de-extinction.
Yeah, it's like we're constantly testing the limits of what's possible.
Exactly, and that spirit of innovation and exploration,
Right.
That's what drives progress.
Absolutely. It's what makes the tech world so fascinating.
But with that progress, it comes responsibility too.
Right.
We need to think critically about, the implications of these advancements.
Yeah, it's not enough to just create new tech. We need to ask ourselves, like, what are the potential consequences? How will this impact society, the environment, the future?
Those are crucial questions, and the answers aren't always clear-cut.
Right.
It requires this ongoing dialogue and debate and ethical considerations.
Yeah, technology is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
Precisely. It's up to us to ensure that technology serves humanity and helps create a more equitable and sustainable future.
Couldn't agree more. Well, this has been an absolute incredible deep dive into the world of tech. We've covered so much ground, from AI to chips to mammoths. I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective.
The pleasure was all mine.
And to all of you listening out there, thanks for tuning in to Bite-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions. We'll be back next week with a whole new set of topics to explore. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and stay tech savvy.